But I'm sorry to say, guys, you can't change character traits like he has. It's either in you or it's not. I'm sorry. There is no way of getting around it.
I've never heard something so foolish, so self-destructive, ever, from anybody. Usyk's camp couldn't have done a better job than his dad did. So I heard about there being some kind of party, celebration party, before. And I'm like, what are you doing, man? You can't bring that mentality to this game, because when the bell goes, it's muzzle off. It's just you and him, not you.
Big one from Usyk. Oh! Oleksandr Usyk at his scintillating best with a left all rise for the brilliance.
Martin Bakole didn't just expose Daniel Dubois, he outright embarrassed him, and he knew it was coming long before the opening bell. Bakole called it publicly, predicting exactly what would unfold, a predictable, one-dimensional fighter walking into the same trap against a generational talent like Oleksandr Usyk. No jab, no evolution, no...
He landed one decent body shot the whole fight, to which Usyk tapped his belly and just said, what was that? And then there was zero else coming back, and that's, in my opinion, that's the attitude and that's the mentality of a guy that when the going gets tough, he doesn't want to fight. And you can never change that.
No answers, just the same old blueprint that has gotten him hurt before, this time against one of the most intelligent technicians in the sport. Dubois was stuck on repeat, and Bakole made it clear that at the elite level, if you fail to adapt, you don't survive, you get flattened. That message echoed louder as the fight...
When you sit down and sit on the floor and look at a referee counting and don't get up, what do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? You want me to lie and say, oh, well, you know, he didn't get the rub of the green? Well, he did. He's there looking at a referee count. When a man's looking at a referee counting, get up. Don't watch him count, get up.
Fight played out. Dubois didn't just lose, he imploded. And when trainers and analysts go speechless watching you collapse, you know it's not just a bad night. It's something deeper, something terminal. Even Don Charles, the man in Dubois' corner, looked stunned. He wasn't just disappointed. He was disgusted by the sheer lack of resistance, the absence of fight. This wasn't a coach holding back his emotions. This was a man staring at a performance that felt like a circus act gone wrong. 4 rounds and done. That's not heavyweight boxing at the elite level.
Even today, before today, that Daniel Dubois would never pass 5 rounds if he kept boxing like
That's a heist. Dubois didn't just get stopped. He robbed fans of a real fight. He came in with hype and promises and delivered a performance so lifeless that the arena itself felt cheated. And if that wasn't brutal enough, Derek Chisora came swinging post-fight, aiming his verbal punches not just at Dubois but at his entire team. Chisora didn't sugarcoat anything, he went savage.
I'm speechless. I usually got a lot to say. I'm speechless. The fight ended in round 4 and we got conned out of it.
He accused Dubois' camp of focusing on complaints and controversy instead of grit, discipline, and a proper game plan. He tore into the excuses being spun before and after the fight, the body shot controversy, the talk of being hard done by. Chisora's message was blunt and universal. Stop pretending. Stop making excuses. Start fighting like a real fighter. You don't cry foul about body shots if you're built for war. You prove your toughness in the ring, and Dubois didn't. Fans agreed. Chisora voiced what the...
Off the scale of body shot, you're a liar and all this for no reason. And what happened now?
The entire boxing world was thinking. Dubois quit, plain and simple. All the talk of adjustments, all the whispers of changes in training camp meant nothing because when the lights hit, it was the same broken, predictable Daniel Dubois that showed up. Chisora's explosion wasn't just anger, it was frustration from a man who knows what it means to go out on your shield. He called out Don Charles and the rest of Dubois' team because he could see the truth. This wasn't a fighter who had been betrayed by his corner. This was a fighter who folded on his own. Dubois didn't go out like a warrior. He sat there, watched the referee, and let the countdown bury him in a fight that was practically gift-wrapped for him. This wasn't a blown opportunity. This was a man walking into the ring already defeated, and the body language from round 1 made it clear. Former world champion Duke McKenzie dissected the fight with cold precision. Dubois, he said, didn't just lose physically, he lost emotionally from the second the bell rang. There was no snap in his punches, no rhythm, no urgency.
Yeah, man, they quit. I don't understand. You know, they were supposed to train him different. They did not. I mean, like, it's big time. It was set for him to win it. You know, it was set for him to win it. You know, when I went to graduate, they say how you feel. You know, Don Charles goes to me, "Oh, go suck your best friend's dick."
His jab, a weapon that once rattled Anthony Joshua, was completely missing. Against a technical mastermind like Usyk, abandoning your jab is suicide. Mackenzie's verdict was damning. Dubois didn't rise to the moment, he crumbled under it. The spotlight was too bright, the expectations too heavy, and Dubois was too small for the occasion, figuratively and mentally. It wasn't Usyk's left hand to the body that broke him, it was the pressure of greatness. Usyk, calm and calculating, stood like a general surveying a battlefield. Dubois looked like a deer caught in headlights, frozen and unsure. Mackenzie drove home the most painful truth. If you can't show energy and urgency in round 1, what are you even doing in the biggest fight of your career? Dubois wasn't trying to win, he was hoping to survive, and that's not an elite mentality, that's a meltdown. As more details emerged about Dubois' pre-fight behavior, the picture got even uglier. Analysts revealed he was seen partying before the fight, acting like it was a night out, not the most important night of his career.
Dubois, to me, in the first round, looked really tired. I don't know if it was the occasion that got to him. Obviously, Usyk got to him, but his punches had no snap on them. When Dubois fought Anthony Joshua, in the first round, he sat out his stall and he went to work straight away. Steady jab, stiff jab, big jab. He jabbed Joshua to death in the first 30 seconds. But in this fight against Usyk, the jab was pretty much non-existent.
Career. Adam Smith, usually one of the most diplomatic voices in British boxing, couldn't believe it. Neither could the fans. Partying before fighting Oleksandr Usyk? That's not preparation, that's delusion. You don't treat a shot at the undisputed heavyweight crown like a club appearance. Dubois was too busy playing the role of a superstar instead of grinding like a hungry challenger. Smith tried to be respectful on air, but the truth slipped through his measured tone. This was a case of levels, and Dubois was leagues below. While Usyk was studying footage, sharpening his weapons, and building a strategy, Dubois was dancing and posing for pictures. And when the fight started, the difference showed. He didn't just lose, he got schooled. You can't beat a master technician like Usyk unless your mind, body, and soul are fully locked in. Dubois wasn't. Adam Smith's analysis carried a subtle but brutal subtext. Dubois failed himself before the first bell rang. The pre-fight antics weren't just bad optics, they reflected a deeper lack of seriousness. And when he stepped into the ring, the result was inevitable. Even Joe Gallagher...
It's not the way that I think you should prepare for an undisputed heavyweight championship. I can't see how his mind... Surely you want to give yourself the best possible chance. That said, he went out, he gave it his best, and he lost. He lost to the better man, and it was a case of luck.
Gallagher, a trainer known for protecting fighters publicly, couldn't sugarcoat it. He admitted Dubois was exposed with clinical precision. Usyk didn't just beat him, he broke him down with angles, timing, and IQ. Gallagher highlighted how Usyk saw everything coming, set traps, and punished Dubois' blind aggression. Dubois didn't show any signs of adapting or thinking mid-fight. He was a static target, walking into punches he couldn't see. Usyk moved like a chess grandmaster, while Dubois was playing checkers with no plan. Gallagher tried to be kind, but the footage doesn't lie. Dubois wasn't unlucky, he was outclassed. That left hook Usyk landed wasn't a fluke. It was set up, designed, and executed with precision. And once again, Dubois showed that when brilliance stares him down, he freezes. Johnny Nelson's outrage summed up the entire Dubois disaster. He questioned how a fighter preparing to face a generational champion like Usyk could treat the night before the fight like a school disco. This wasn't a charity dinner or a post-fight celebration. This was world-class boxing at the highest level, and Dubois treated it like a joke. Nelson's criticism went deeper than just...
was the case, and I think Daniel forced him into the ropes and he just walked onto a check hook high up on the head, and then obviously in the two phases of attack, Usyk did in them with the left hook around the side of the right hand, and he executed it very well.
Just the party. He called out the lack of professionalism in Dubois' camp, pointing fingers at the dynamic where Don Charles, the hired head trainer, appeared to have been undermined by Dubois' inner circle. Instead of a focused team effort, the camp seemed more concerned with good vibes than preparation. Nelson's words cut because they were true. You simply don't host parties before stepping into the ring with a technician like Usyk, who devours unprepared opponents. Usyk was sharpening every tool in his arsenal, while Dubois was entertaining friends. And when the bell rang, that difference in mentality was glaring. This wasn't a lack of talent, it was a lack of seriousness. Nelson was furious because he'd seen a fighter sabotage himself before the first punch was even thrown. Boxing at this level is unforgiving. One mistake can cost everything, and Dubois practically handed Usyk the keys to victory. Carl Frosch's commentary was even more brutal. The former champion dismantled the narrative Dubois' camp was building and smashed it to pieces. Frosch's message was clear: this is the hurt business. You walk into that ring ready for death, not drinks. Frosch couldn't comprehend how a heavyweight title challenger could host a party before facing Oleksandr Usyk, a man who embodies discipline.
Now if my man's putting a party on and saying, we ain't fighting unless all the crew come in, on fight night, he's an idiot. I don't know him personally, so I can't, but what I'm seeing is foolishness. How can you be so stupid? That's street mentality. This is world-class boxing.
Precision and mental toughness. Dubois wasn't in warrior mode. He was in vibes mode, trying to play the superstar without earning it. Frosch hammered home the fundamental truth of boxing. Mental preparation is just as vital as physical conditioning. If you don't embrace the danger, you're not ready to face it. Dubois clearly didn't. Frosch's fury wasn't about one party, it was about what that party symbolized. A complete lack of understanding of the stakes. Usyk entered that ring like a soldier. Dubois stepped in as if it were a sparring session. Frosch didn't hold back. He stripped away every excuse. Daniel Dubois didn't just lose, he was humiliated because he underestimated the sport, the occasion, and most of all, the man in front of him. Adam Smith, always polite, couldn't mask the absurdity either. A pre-fight party before facing Oleksandr Usyk? It was catastrophic, not ideal as some tried to frame it. Smith highlighted an even bigger problem in Dubois' setup, the power dynamic. From the outside, it seemed Daniel's father had more influence than the trainer, and that kills a fighter's growth. At the elite level, comfort zones and family loyalty can't outweigh preparation and professionalism. Usyk is—
You're not in party mode, you're in fight mode. You're in, I could be walking to a certain death mode here. This is the hurt game. This is a dangerous, hard sport where people get seriously injured in there. And when you're fighting, you want to be in the mode of fight zone, fight mode. Let's go, I'm going to battle, I'm going to war, I'm a fucking warrior. I'm going in there to do some damage and protect.
Isn't Anthony Joshua, and treating the fight like any other was like bringing a butter knife to a gunfight. The optics told the world Dubois wasn't taking the challenge seriously, and when a fighter isn't fully locked in, they crumble against a master like Usyk. Then Shane Mosley weighed in and cut through all the noise with the most devastating verdict. Mosley, a legend himself, said what many were thinking. Even if Dubois had done everything perfectly, he was never beating Oleksandr Usyk. Mosley's breakdown was clinical. Usyk simply had too much experience, too much ring IQ, and too much mental toughness. The Ukrainian's ability to adapt and exploit weaknesses is unmatched. Dubois, on the other hand, had more holes than a sponge. Mosley even added a hypothetical. Maybe a smaller, less seasoned version of Usyk would have given Dubois a slim chance. But this bigger, stronger, fully realized Usyk? He was untouchable. Mosley didn't waste time blaming the party, the camp, or the occasion.
Sport for a long time. I haven't seen that sort of thing before. However, Don Charles has come out saying they had it last time. It worked with the AJ fight. Dave Dubois, Stan Dubois, goes by two names, doesn't he? Has a very, very special relationship with his son, and maybe he thinks he knows best. This is where the difference is with a trainer, Don Charles. Did Don want it? He said that's what we did before, and it worked with AJ. Maybe Daniel's the sort of guy that like to keep things the same way, but the picture's coming out. Yeah, look, it's not.
He acknowledged reality. Usyk is light years ahead. The fight was a mismatch in skill, composure, and mentality. For Dubois, this wasn't just a defeat. It was a reminder of the gulf between pretenders and true champions. The truth is, Daniel Dubois has never been built for the deep end. Against a force like Oleksandr Usyk, that weakness was brutally exposed. From the ill-timed pre-fight party to the lack of killer instinct under the lights, everything screamed unprepared. On the other hand, Usyk entered the ring like a war machine, composed, calculated, and cruelly efficient. This wasn't just a technical mismatch, it was psychological devastation. Dubois folded the moment real pressure arrived. Worse, his team fed into the delusion, choosing routine over reinvention. Boxing legends like Johnny Nelson, Carl Frosch, and Shane Mosley didn't just critique him, they tore him apart because they saw what fans are now forced to admit. Daniel Dubois lacks fire, he lacks hunger, he lacks the sheer will to survive when the storm hits. The boxing world didn't witness a warrior rising to the occasion. They saw a lamb walking to the slaughter.
No, I think Daniel was in the right mindset. I mean, I just think that Usyk had too much too much for him, like too much mental, too much experience, too much. He had too much for him. There was nothing he could do about that. If it was a smaller Usyk like it was when he fought the first time, maybe Dubois had a good chance. But now that Usyk's bigger and stronger, he already has this. So yeah, it's a wrap. It's a wrap for the heavyweight division now. Like I think.
Now the question becomes, if a fighter mentally collapses before the first bell rings, should he even be in the ring at all? On the flip side, Usyk's dominance wasn't just expected, it was surgical, almost sadistic in its ease. Dubois didn't just lose a fight, he lost the faith of the boxing elite. And once that faith is gone, it never comes back the same. The pressure on Daniel Dubois now is monumental. He isn't rebuilding from a loss, he's rebuilding from humiliation.